Welcome to All Things 80s. Now, today I actually dug out my old Lego from childhood. Now, this stuff has been sitting in black garbage bags for at least the last 3 decades. This is the first time I've seen them in that amount of time, and the first thing that struck me was the condition of the white bricks. Now, I've just pulled a sample here, and we can see here that the surface of these bricks has turned a nasty sort of tan colour. Not on all sides, funnily enough, but a lot of them, and a lot of these have just accumulated so much dirt and debris over the decades. They're just absolutely filthy. So what I'm going to try and do is see if it is at all possible to restore these bricks to somewhat of a decent condition. Now, I'm not expecting them to turn out brand new, but what I am hoping to do is remove some of this yellowing, which has, it's affected most of these bricks. The ones that aren't yellowed are horribly disgusting, just dust and God knows what else over the years, because these were, like I said, in garbage bags for the last 3 decades, but most of that time was spent outside in a shed. So, Lord knows what insects and whatnot have been crawling over these. Now, what I also did was I did make sure to get a good random sampling of bricks. And this one here, you can see in the back, it's got that horrible yellowing, but it is a printed brick. So I'm going to try and see if the process we use will have any effect on the printed pieces. So we've got the Shell logo, we've got one of the classic space pieces with the printed space logo, and of course we have a classic spaceman. So the first thing I'm going to do with these is give them a damn good clean with some hot soapy water, and that will be the first step in hopefully restoring these. So when we come back, we're going to see what effect the hot soapy water has on these before we go on to the next step in this process. So stand by. Now we're back with a basin of hot soapy water, not so hot that you can't put your hands in it. The soap is just simple dish detergent, and I'm going to take each brick at a time. Got an old, well, when I say old, this is actually a new toothbrush I got on a recent flight, which I'm never going to use on my teeth. So this is a nice toothbrush, and just going to basically go ahead and take each brick in turn and just give it a scrub in the hopes of, releasing whatever dirt is on these. Obviously this will have no impact on the yellowing, but that's not what we're going for. We just want to get these as clean as is possible, and then we'll go on to the next step, which we'll come to shortly. So basically just give these a scrub, hot soapy water, then obviously I'm going to rinse them off, I'm going to dry them, and then when that's complete, we can hopefully start the magic part of this process. So just let me finish washing these, and I'll be right back. So now I've just got finished washing these pieces, and you will notice there are fewer pieces than I had before. I decided I don't know if this is going to work, so I'm not going to waste my time washing all these pieces. And also as well, this cheap or indeed free toothbrush from an airline was just absolutely hopeless. So I would recommend investing in a half decent brush if you are planning on sort of attempting this kind of restoration. So basically the pieces I have, I've cleaned them as well as possible, and you will see that on one side it's somewhat white, but when you flip it over it's a nasty tan colour. So that's a good example of what we're hoping to get rid of. Same with this Shell piece. The siding with the Shell logo is reasonably okay, but when you flip it over, again it's that tan colour. It's the same with all of these really. It just seems to affect certain sides of the bricks. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the next step, which is the hydrogen peroxide step. So I've got here a mason jar. I've got this one huge on purpose, because if this experiment does work on the Lego pieces, I hope to try the same process on action figures, etc. So I figured a bigger is always better. So basically, just going to dump these Lego pieces into the mason jar. And then we're going to use simple hydrogen peroxide. Now, I got this from my local Walgreens, and it's very cheap. However, they only had the 3% solution, which I'm not sure is going to be strong enough for what I'm hoping to achieve. But as this is the first attempt, you know, I think it was like $1.09 for this 32 fluid ounce bottle, so I'm not overly concerned if it doesn't work. I can order the stronger stuff online. So basically, into the mason jar with the pieces, and then just cover them with the hydrogen peroxide. So with there being such few pieces, that should be enough. And yeah, that seems to be okay. Obviously, next step is get the lid on nice and tight, like so. And then all we're going to do is set this out in the sun for a few days. From what I've read, 5 days should be enough. I guess there's some sort of chemical process when the UV light from the sun interacts with the hydrogen peroxide. I have no idea, I'm not a chemist. But anyway, so all we can do now is put these out in the sun and wait a few days. So obviously the next part of this video will hopefully be me showing you these Lego pieces as beautiful, beaming white, almost new pieces, or it could end up being a complete failure. We just don't know. So anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 when we see the result of this scientific process. So it's been about a week of sitting outside in the hydrogen peroxide and in reasonable sunlight. The weather's been a bit on and off, but at a few decent days of sun. And as I said before, this was 3% strength hydrogen peroxide. Now, to give you a comparison of the job it's done, here is one of the bricks that's been through the process compared to one of the bricks that has not been through the process. And you can see here, it's a huge difference. You know, this one is horribly browned with age, and this one was in the same condition but has been treated with hydrogen peroxide and a few days of sunlight, and it's a fantastic result. I'm absolutely amazed at how well this has turned out. So I did say I was a little concerned about the printed pieces, and I think the Shell logo has it was a vibrant red to begin with, and it's still reddish, but it's got a lot more of a pink hue to it, so that has faded a little bit. The space logo, also the planet has faded somewhat, although the red is still quite clear on this. And the spaceman, the silver of his planet as part of the logo is slightly faded, but it's not too bad. And the figure itself is a pretty decent white color. So yes, I can say this was a big success. 3% hydrogen peroxide in a mason jar, sealed for about a week and sitting outside to get as much sunlight as possible. This absolutely is a fantastic way of whitening old plastic toys that have just aged horribly and turned that nasty yellow color. So please go ahead, try this. I highly recommend it. So thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and see you next video.